We are now.
What's this one from?
It's probably still good.
Trying to poison me? It's probably got mouth bacteria.
The new ones you give me.
Yeah. 99.9.99-9.3. Is that what we're running with?
I think so.
5/21. Monday, May 27th. What the fuck is wrong with you?
What's wrong with me?
You haven't even. You've been in the exact same place I've been all day. Why you seem so tired?
Because I'm trying to keep up with you.
No, you're not. You've sat down half the day. Have you seen me sit at all?
Sewing machine doesn't count.
Yeah, it counts. That's sitting.
Okay, sewing machine. What else other than that?
Could you stand? You can't. No, you can't.
think
It's too low, right?
Oh yeah.
Good news. I'm buying sewing machines where you can stand and sew. They're coming in. They're standing.
Is it the
posts?
one
Yeah,
where
for
it's like
edge tapers and shit.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, the posts. Yep. How's your weekend?
It's all right.
What was the best part of it? Coolest thing.
The second post, putting in the second post with concrete. And it
Oh
fucking
shit,
working.
that's right. So
That was the best part.
Jeff tried that expanding concrete shit.
The expanding foam, it didn't work.
It
It looks cool as fuck.
It looks great if you're putting in like
foam concrete.
like vanity
Yeah,
fence.
it's supposed to be expanded. It's supposed to be the revolution. You don't need this one little bag. So the bag is basically two pieces of paper like this, two separate compounds, and it's this one little bag that is supposed to be 80 pounds of concrete. Replaces 80 pounds of concrete. So I dig my post hole, and I'm thinking
The problem is it weighs like 0.25 pounds.
I've watched all the videos, and they make this stuff out to be like it is the holy grail of cement,
It's
right?
the bomb.
It's the bomb.
How many did you buy? How many bags did you buy?
I only bought 4
400.
bags.
Okay.
I only bought
400.
four.
All right.
I only bought 4.
You went all the way to Lowe's and only bought 4 bags of this bullshit?
Yeah, because it's real expensive. And I thought, let's just get some in the ground before we go banana rama on these things. So they give you all these safe, you're supposed to plastic gloves up to your face, goggles, respirator. And I did that the first time.
Someplace, there is a dude with that stuffed in his asshole.
Yeah, or his eye.
Or
You think
up in
he
his
mixes it and then puts it up so
his
it
chick's
expands?
cooter. It's like expanding foam.
So I put it, do all the stuff, pour it in there, and it, it works just like the videos. It just starts expanding. It's kind of like that shit you put in the
foam.
Expanding
Foam
foam.
you put in the,
I
it's just like that.
I've grasped the concept.
It's just like that.
Is it good or not?
So it goes.
If you're putting in vinyl fencing,
It doesn't look. It's not impressing me, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, you know what? I'll let it sit overnight. I'm not gonna fuck with
Let
it.
it
I'll let it
cure.
sit overnight. So I did 2 posts that way, because everybody says it's the shit. So I go out the next morning, and I'm like, with one finger on the post, I'm like, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And the post is like, I'm like, God damn it! You can hear the foam in the hole going, quick, quick, quick. So I'm like, okay, you know what?
One more day.
I'm like, hole was too big. It was just hole was too big because I could see around the edge of the foam.
Okay.
So I'm like, I'll double down on this motherfucker. So I crack open another one and squeeze it all down in there. And it just comes out of the fucking thing and makes it even bigger. Didn't change the fucking thing at all. Still weak, like that. Oh,
How much did one
12
final bag cost?
One of those bags is $12.50.
Then you need 2 bags per or each
No,
one bag
What's a
comes
bag,
in 2
what's a
parts.
bag of Ready Creek cost?
$3.25. Yeah.
A single. If you buy a pallet, I'll bet it's even cheaper.
Yeah, even cheaper. So, yeah, I had to go to the concrete.
So we mixed, like, the hardest part of putting fencing in is you got to mix that concrete, right? We mix it with a trowel or a mixer, and we fucking put it in the hole, whole deal. Dudes around here, all these farmers are like, what the fuck are you doing, man? All you got to do is just pour it in there, and when it rains, it'll...
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
The ground is so wet. The ground is always so wet here because of the humidity that it just sucks it just creates a rock. Even when I just doing it the way the general told me to do it. Just doing it by putting the concrete, so just taking a bag of concrete, pouring it in the hole, tamping it down, fucking tamping the shit out of it, I couldn't move the pole. Not like the pole was in there.
Yeah, one's
With-
foam,
without even-
one's concrete.
Yeah, but the concrete was just it wasn't even. I didn't get it wet or nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just pouring the dirt in the hole, tamping it. The fucking pole was sturdier than the foam shit.
We used to mix our concrete with. We were using a lot of water, and it was taking forever to dry. And then my dad started doing some research and found like he would buy these chemicals, and God knows what they were, right? And like we'd put them in like old Tide bottles because we could use them as measurement. And he was like 3 caps of this, a half a cap of this, and a splash of that. And we would like, I'd turn the hose on for like, a full, what it probably 5, no, but maybe a 20-gallon drum, 30-gallon, like a big size drum, right? And I go 1, 2, 3, and I'd let the hose go off. And it would just mix it, and it would like you'd look at it, it'd be chunky, and then I don't know what would happen. It would just almost become soupy, like it was just crazy. It was like you'd use less water. We'd pour it all in, hit it with the vibrator, and then it would get so fucking hot, and it would just bake the water because you found something else to let it cure faster. And we were putting them in because they were plastic. The plastic would bulge a little bit, so we built these wood molds that we'd put them in while they're wet, screw them shut, and then you'd get the square top and bottom, and the bottom was round, so it didn't matter if it bulged a little bit. Within a day, they'd be cured enough that we could take them out, put them on the ground, let them cure for another day, cut them open. And
What's the proper procedure? Do you want concrete in the hole, post on top of the concrete, or do you want post in the hole, touching the dirt, concrete around the post?
I put concrete underneath the post.
That's what I thought too.
I put just a little bit of concrete underneath. Everything that I've seen, they're like.
But then I hear dudes
gravel.
put gravel. Yeah, I hear other dudes put gravel so that your post, if it gets wet and the water seeps down, it goes into the gravel and your post isn't rotting in the hole. But I mean, shit.
But when was Eli here? When did we do that? When did you take the tractor out to my place? Was that 2 years ago?
At least, yeah.
So, like, literally the next day, I went and bought poles and just jammed them in the hole. No concrete, no nothing. Those poles they've been there this whole time. And there's not a fucking. I pulled them out and I'm reusing them, obviously. And there's not a.
But you're using like 4-inch and 6-inch posts and shit holes like we used here. You're not using 4x4s or anything.
No, I'm not using 4x4s. I'm using not co-op. What's the Tractor Supply poles? Yeah.
Yeah, we bought fucking pallets of those things. How about you? What did you do this weekend?
well, we helped safety officer for fighting pistol. It was about 30 people.
Cool.
It's a good weekend.
Were you safe?
Did you have to red card anybody? You didn't red card anybody?
There was one moment where I was like, "Oh, we're gonna have to like, hold on, stop, freeze."
Was that when you had the 10mm?
No, I did have it. That was probably pretty cool. I got to shoot a 10mm Glock 40, real Glock 40, 10mm, some Fiocchi in it.
Is that how you pronounce it? Fiocchi?
Fiocchi.
Is that the proper way?
Yeah.
Fiocchi?
Yeah.
I thought it was Fiocchi.
James said they're, I think, one of the only companies right now, like, loading real hot 10mm, 210, 220, somewhere in that weight, and then it's like 1,250 feet per second. I was shooting steel at like 150 yards, 160 yards, and like, pow, bam! I mean, it would hit the steel and you would hear it ring. Like, it was loud.
Do you think it dented the steel?
Probably not. That steel's pretty good. Rifle rounds, problem with rifle rounds is it's way lighter, but it's moving way faster.
It's all
so
about
that's
velocity.
the speed is what fucks it up. But I mean, really, it's just like a 9mm hit it, just heavier.
Yeah, louder.
Yeah, so that's all really you're getting.
At 150 yards?
Probably 150, 160. I think that's where it was, right around there.
That's cool.
Yeah, nobody's gonna believe me.
Who cares?
Gives a shit. I'm just saying.
Who cares?
Come on to the range. I'll show you how it's done.
Skully, I recently took a class with Larry Vickers. First of all, the class was... We read this, didn't we?
Yeah, we read that one.
Oh, I'll tell you one more cool thing. Jody had some frangible ammo. You ever fuck around with that stuff? Dude, me and Carson loaded up a mag, started like 10 yards out, and just one after the other, went like 17 rounds, and we started walking up to the steel, and just as we got closer, like, ding, 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 ding. I mean, like, we finished off probably... If I would have went like this, I'd have probably touched the steel. We didn't feel a single thing. And I looked back to Jody, I was like, I need a case of that. Wherever you're getting it from, get me a case.
You remember when all the frangible came out for 5.56?
Yeah.
It was leaving the house. It wasn't like it might not have shot through drywall, but it fucking went straight through fucking concrete. Like it was leaving the buildings.
People at range, we were fucking shooting through the.
It's got to hit something super hard to break down. People think sometimes it's great for the house, but
that's what it was
it'll
supposed to.
It'll punch through.
So it was supposed to be. That was what everybody was touting, that it would not go through drywall, because the whole thing was like going from an MP5 or a 12 gauge to an M4 indoors, and it was military application, but the cops were starting to pick it up. So they were touting that it wouldn't leave drywall, but it was going through fucking like reinforced cinder block and shit. Like you could see daylight through the.
Yeah, it's got to hit something super hard, and then it just disintegrates to the powder.
I do have something on the Larry Vickers thing though.
Yeah.
I've always said this. Shoot whatever you're comfortable shooting. Doesn't matter. You don't have to man up and shoot 10 millimeter like the big dog over here or a 45. But being in a class and having everybody now raise their hand and go, how many people are shooting 9 millimeters? Just because more people are sucking dicks nowadays does not mean you have to suck a dick. The other thing too is you have to understand that Larry Vickers is getting up there in age.
Do you think that's why James had you shoot the 10 millimeter?
Bones probably getting a little soft in his wrist. You want to shoot, when you get up there, you want to break out the 9 millimeter because
the unit was hard on Larry.
Yeah, the unit was hard on Larry, and I guarantee you, when he was gangbanging in the unit, he was carrying a 1911, not some gay ass fucking 9 millimeter pistol. Anyways, that's all my Larry Vicker thing.
Do you think the
I love
unit
Larry.
is still using 1911s?
No, the unit is using Glocks.
Glocks chambered in?
So
9 millimeter. They have to.
Okay.
Because that's NATO standard. So they have to.
45 is still NATO standard.
No, it's not really. It is still
So
NATO
is
standard, but it's
MUSOC
not really.
Using 45?
No, they're still using, the MUSOCs are still using them because the Marine Corps it's hard to beat.
I don't buy the
it's hard
unit
to
is
beat.
using them because it's NATO for 1 fucking second.
No, 9 millimeter, not Glock.
I don't buy.
But even
I don't
still.
buy that the unit's using.
How many people do you think are in the
If
unit?
they wanted 38 special,
50?
they'd be using
No,
fucking
there's more than that.
38.
They have
200?
They have.
It can't be much.
We're talking CAG.
I mean, if
Yeah, they have
SEALs,
3.
SEALs are...
Oh, you're talking about SEALs.
No, I'm saying if there's 1,000 dudes in the SEALs,
Yeah.
right, across the unit, which Vickers and Pat, we're talking about the same
Yeah.
unit, right, Delta dudes, right?
Well,
Like,
they have.
there can't be much.
They have 3 squadrons, I think.
I mean, you tell me, I don't know.
Yeah, I think they have 3
How
squadrons.
much goes in a squadron?
I don't know. Some 12.
So yeah, somehow. So you're probably under 900 guys.
Why don't you
really.
call Reed? I'll bet
what-
you
that doesn't-
Reed probably has a better
Reed's already
answer.
writing comments about this. 900 people. You think they could... From my understanding,
think
they
they
could
would-
do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah, you can do whatever the hell you want to a certain exception. So, if Larry Vickers wants to gangbang in fucking South America, because that's what Larry Vickers likes to do is gangbang down in South America.
Research Google.
If he wants to do that, yes, the unit could go. If the unit wanted to carry fucking 10 millimeter and 30-06 rifles, nobody's gonna be like, bro, you can't do that. They're gonna be like, whatever, you guys do that. The problem is,
Here's your bar.
when you get to the place, where the gangbanging is going on, they're gonna have just NATO shit. So it takes it means it takes, if there's no reason to take 10 millimeters if
There's 9 available.
yeah,
I got you.
You know
cool.
what I'm saying?
I'm over that
if
now.
you got
The
10 mags.
gangbang thing needs to get filled in.
What, the
Like,
gangbang?
You don't know about hard charging gangbanging with the unit?
Did he say gangbanging
Have you
in
not
the
Larry
unit?
Vickers
Have you not watched
gangbangs
our videos
No.
with the unit.
Your videos?
Yeah.
Larry Vickers is always gangbanging when he's in the unit.
Have you not watched the videos fucking Sean did? Pretending to be Larry Vickers?
No.
Holy fuck, there were like 5 of them. Oh my god.
I thought he was making fun of Costa.
He made fun of everybody,
everybody.
actually.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go
Yeah.
back and find those.
Yeah.
Not like hateful.
No,
like,
just
but it was
teasing,
just funny
right.
shit, you know?
Yeah.
Because he got in character. He did it so well.
Gangbanging in the unit.
Yeah, I mean, they can use whatever the fuck they want, but there's a point where whatever the fuck you want is useless.
That's the tip of the spear, huh? That is known about the unit.
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about Dev Group and Delta, I would not say they're the tip of the spear.
What would you define as the tip of the spear?
They're the part
Alright.
they're the part of the spear that comes in and surgically removes things when it needs to be surgically removed. like Ranger Battalion. If shit goes tip of the spear, they're the guys that are going to be the first
blow up
ones
the
in
Eiffel Tower. Rangers are doing it.
You know what I'm saying? It's kind of it's weird to define that because, unfortunately, like Delta and Red Cell, they get fenced off a lot of times. So, for example, if some shit, let's say we're gonna fucking go into, I don't know, we're gonna go into Somalia, right? The ninjas they'll be like, hey, you guys stay behind this fence in case we need you to do some shit. So they're kind of like a surgical scalpel, less a tip of the spear. Tip of the spear is going to be Rangers, 82nd Airborne, Marine Infantry Battalion.
I got you.
Those guys are more, you know, if you need Noriega's boat blown up in the harbor, send Navy SEALs, right? They're blowing up boats. But
he's animated today.
Yeah,
he's feeling it.
So. You got me wrong.
Making me excited.
With your 10mm. I love 10mm.
Hey guys, keep things going. 99.99. You were talking about us not really knowing what's going on in Venezuela, and everybody probably thinking that we shit on the sidewalks throughout the United States. When I was in Vienna the last time, it amazed me that the only exposure the people there seemed to get about the United States was propaganda on how fucked up our political system was, being run by George W. Bush at the time and MTV. So honestly, it was really hard to blame them for hating Americans in a general way, when that was the only exposure most of these people were getting of us. That and the tourists from the U.S. that were there. By the way,
shitting on the streets.
In fact, with male Velcro on the back would be fucking awesome. Go get some fucking double-sided Velcro. That's the answer. Skip this. This guy, I'm about to ban this dude right here. He just keeps fucking saying the same shit. I cannot believe that he's asked the same question that we've answered 400 times now.
I know exactly what that is.
And not fucking heard it. Got 2 orders in the past week from you guys. One with April Fool's Day pouch, one with Mother's Day bag. Great gifts to add to the sling I got. See you guys in July. Tactical Midget. I saw you on Instagram today.
Is he really?
He is fucking really goddamn. He is not a fucking midget.
Oh man, that fucking.
Like I was gonna have him come in here and do midget stuff. But he's not an actual midget.
It'd be cool if he was all jocked up.
John.
Midget.
I completed Enemies Foreign Domestic 1 and 3, finishing book 2. The first one scared the shit out of me because of the fact it could very easily happen. Also finished The Richest Man in Babylon. Have you heard of Dave Ramsey? Of course we've heard of Dave Ramsey. He is, because he has a beautiful building right next to the fucking best Krispy Kreme in Nashville. They have the conveyor belt and everything. I've only been there. Is it Franklin? I guess it is.
Because his stuff's all right there. Yeah. His stuff's right there.
Yeah. And if so, what are your opinions on his steps on building wealth? Building wealth, I think he's a fucking terrible advice on how to build wealth. How to get out of debt, I think it's fucking 100%. You want to look up Investable Wealth, John Pugliano, and listen to what he has to say. Jack Spirko speaks on that quite a bit. You should listen to the Survival Podcast. John Pugliano, that's how I know of him. He is expert counsel. He also is a money manager. Not a tip advisor. You might make some money fucking kind of shit. But if you actually have wealth, John Pugliano can manage your money for you and make you money. But they both speak quite a bit on Ramsey. If you're in debt, that's a great way to get out of debt. As far as that is not how Ramsey is making his fucking money, not what he's telling you guys. So look a little further. My sister and I used them to get out of debt and build a safety net. I'm about to EAOS soon and go to trade school to work on cars. About to get my Mexican on. Laugh out loud. Is that what you were?
Apparently.
Looking forward. Hey, there's some shops out there where it's like a laboratory. They have tiles and it's very nice. And looking forward to saying hi when I take a class attack response. Awesome podcast. I listen to it every day to and from work. I hope it keeps going. It really is awesome listening to real shit overseas. But I have to say, I'm disappointed in every order I've placed so far. Everything is exactly as it was described on the website. Bomb-proof as fuck. I'm getting sick and tired of receiving my orders and finding nothing wrong with them. Solid work, guys. Keep keeping on. Brother, Skully, Simplify, Gumby, HM2, FMF.
HM2.
What would you say to a man that's about to go through automotive?
Pay attention with the tech stuff, with the electrical stuff. Everything's moving nowadays. Like, 70% of your paycheck is going to come from running bolts, doing brakes, doing oil changes, suspension work. All that stuff's easy, mindless. Take your impact and zip, 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 and you're in and out and you're done. The other 30% is going to be electrical. Like, I'm not saying don't do it, but if you're like, if I don't want to say like geeky or nerdy, and you like electrical stuff and reading and stuff like that, like the last year I had to swallow a lot of pride and sit on the computer and pull up the wiring diagram and read and see how the system worked. Because normally I just want to let me just dive in it and I'll figure it out as I go, and it holds you back.
It's all microcomputers now, more and more.
Oh
right?
man, the new S-Class has I don't know how many miles of wire and fiber optic and flex ray and
Like literally
optical.
miles.
They used to say that. I don't know if it's still true. Now they're running like optical lines, flex ray, so it's like this like flexible optical line that like is like 2-3 systems are running on it. Like like lights are flashing and it's breaking up. It's some fucking crazy shit.
I think automotive's a good field to be in right now, unless for what he's talking about.
The
doing.
mechanic is gone. The mechanic is gone. Now it's the technician. And my shit, like, the shift I saw at the very end is like, maybe it was because of the place I was at, but there's a lot of, it's hard to say. There's always going to be people to fix it, but you're moving more and more. Like, the longer I worked, the less and less I got dirty, if that makes sense. Like, there's no, like, I use my meter. My meter's dirtier than most of my tools, just because, like, you're getting in there and you're testing stuff, and so.
John Skully, what are your thoughts on Baker from Colorado turning away the gay couple that wanted him to bake a cake and refused to under the guise of the religious beliefs? Didn't this...
That happened a long time ago.
I keep seeing this pop up. Did it happen again recently? Because that happened like 5 years ago.
So I don't know who I was listening to, but they were talking about that. That couple went around.
Yeah, they went looking for that specifically.
For someone to like kept asking till somebody said no, and then made the big deal about it.
If this was the only bakery in Colorado, then I might have a problem with it. But you can go get fucking cake anywhere you want. Why would a Jewish person want to get a cake from a Nazi baker?
I think it just goes to show you that what we said in the past, paid for haters, John Willis rant, little bitches via the people that get shit put in their food. The film Waiting by Ryan Reynolds and Dan Cook and Anna Faris really shine light on what happens when you were picking sugar.
The ball sack
okay,
game.
So
that movie fucking
if you want to be a fucking Ku Klux Klan member and you want to refuse service to black people, you want to be a fucking Nazi, refuse service to Jewish, fucking whatever. You want to be an asshole? The system is going to sort itself out. If you opened a restaurant someplace and said no blacks allowed, you can't fucking survive nowadays. Even if you truly believe that, just because you should be allowed to do it, because every motherfucker that walks in there, we're going to know exactly who those fucking clients are. Somebody's going to document them, and fucking those people, nobody's going to do business in other aspects of those people. They're going to be able to eat at that restaurant, and they're going to themselves have to start businesses that only cater to white people. There's not enough fucking, the world is not how it used to be. You cannot do that shit. Should you be able to do it? Yes. Are you going to be able to survive doing it? Fuck no, you're not going to be able to survive doing it. Because I'm not going to go there. Fucking, he's not going to go there. Fucking, the Mexican dude here, Spanish. The Spanish dude ain't going to go there. Like, you're not going to be able to stay in business that way. You want to do
cake,
it?
I'm a diabetic. I can't eat.
You want to do it? Let them fucking do it. And then we can see who's who. Let it all fucking sort itself out. But that's not what's happening here. They were fishing for that. They fucking kept going and going and going until they got what they fucking were looking for, and they blew it up, and it was all about fucking. It's just like the fat bitch that walks into Walmart and throws some liquid on the ground and fucking has her own fall so she can sue Walmart. It's the same fucking thing.
I agree 100%. I think just because it's like the dude said, you're not necessarily wrong. You're just an asshole.
Yeah. Skully and John, thoughts on Cody Wilson? He's the guy that created the 3D printing guns out in Texas and identifies as a free market anarchist. I don't even know.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah,
He's a fucking idiot. I mean, the pistol, none of the shit really works.
No.
None of the shit really works. I mean, This is the one thing I will say about Cody Wilson and him putting that stuff out there is I have seen on a couple of different platforms every real way to do everything that the ATF considers illegal blueprinted right on the fucking internet, which is putting that information out there. That's kind of what he was trying to do. What he was kind of trying to say was that you can't control this information, that this information is going to be out there and there's nothing you can do about it. That was the whole idea behind the 3D printer, or his 3D printed gun bullshit.
Was this the ghost gun thing?
Yeah, the ghost gun. It's
again 5 years ago.
It's a fucking gimmick, but I mean, the matter is
it's not a fucking threat.
The matter is it's a gimmick, and the problem is, even though the information is out there, all those things are still felonies. So why would you fuck around with it? I mean, the information is free, but the jail time is not.
The perception that there's value in tracking firearms is real. Like the fact that people think like, oh well, if you register it, it makes it better, and better to them is equated as safer. It's safer if we know where everything is. It doesn't change anything.
That doesn't change anything.
It's all how the thing is used. If you buy a 50 cal Barrett and mount it to a jig and hold it 10 feet off the ground, pointing towards the ground, and load 20 rounds into it and let every round rip and blow a hole into the ground, is that the efficient way to dig a post hole? No. You know what I mean? Like,
I was wondering where you were going.
You get what I'm saying? Like, it's how you use the thing. And people, they want to get, they got nothing better to do than to read the news and read Facebook and see the other side of the argument and think, well, there might be some validity. You know, just stop. I wish people would really stop just worrying about the semantics.
Bullshit that
doesn't
fucking
affect you.
That's not to the...
No. Yeah, that's not to him.
Skully, I heard that the lost some tanks out in the dunes of southeast Cali because of the huge windstorm. I don't have the coordinates, but there's a chance you could get a tank. That is the best. What is the best machine gun in y'all's opinion? Have a good one.
Best machine gun. One in your hand when you need it.
Yeah, I would say that's the best one. I mean, you can't go
That
wrong
works.
with you can't go wrong with the 240 Gulf. It's actually a copy of the British machine gun, the Mag 58, which has been around since 1958. So that tells you how good it is. But the Germans are still using MG 42s. They just converted them to 308. So I mean, can't go wrong with any German machine guns either. As far as tanks in the desert, your best bet on tanks in the desert will come up soon when the U.S. Army decides that they no longer want M1 Abrams. When they get their new tank, whatever it's going to be, the M5 Abrams, they will take all those old Abrams.
They can't have an M2 because they get confused with a machine gun.
They'll take all those old Abrams and they'll start putting them out on ranges for aircraft. You get out there that week, you have a possibility of driving one of those M1 Abrams back into the hills where they can't drop bombs on it, and then you can have your M1 Abrams. But you're going to need a drive shaft, batteries, and fuel.
Not a key, though, right?
Because
no key. You don't need a key. There are no keys.
Because this might have happened 20 or so years ago.
Now, I don't know anything about anybody that may have got an M60 tank off of the Chocolate Mountain bombing range.
Or 3 of them. Skully.
I do not have one, by the way, or I'd be driving it.
Skully, the beard stash trim is looking good. I got a rather large beard. I wouldn't shave it for nothing, but it can be hell of a beast to tame.
How long would it take you to drive from your house to here in your tank? Because you know
In a
you'd
tank?
want. Yeah, you know you'd want to.
Or you have to
man, yeah,
refuel
fine.
like 5 times.
If I had one,
Would you go as the crow flies, just straight, fuck the roads?
No, you couldn't. There's water everywhere.
it'd be a tough call. It would be better to go, kind of where the crow flies.
Yeah,
Until we had to cross bridges,
yeah.
but it'd be a tough call.
Also, you mentioned Spirko talking about the storms out west, and it reminded me of the derecho that hit Northern Virginia when I was stationed there. I was out at the movies that night and had no idea this huge ass storm was rolling in until we left the theater, and the wind from the storm was so strong it started tearing roofs off of buildings and flooded some of the roads and killed power for about 3 days. So I spent, a couple hours this weekend looking at storm shelters. For about $5,000, they'll come out, cut a hole in the concrete, put one in, pour the concrete back over. It's a slide. So you can put, they've got them anywhere from like 4 people to 12 people, like that, and they're about $6,000. Yeah.
$6,000 plus the 4 for the door.
What?
You said $4,000 to cut it and put the door.
No,
in?
it's total.
That's
installed,
$6,000.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's $6,000 for the unit. I don't know what the contractor
okay.
cost. And then several of the same companies make big units that are in ground, up to fucking hold they're up to fucking 50 feet long. They're big, huge steel ones for $20,000.
Could you just bury
Shipping container?
products?
We have problems with it.
Yeah.
These come and they're sealed.
Oh, okay.
Fucking everything. They're reinforced. They have a winch, so they'll hoist the door open should you need. There's a lot to them. It's not just a shipping container.
Shipping containers are real strong at all the corners,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not strong on the sides or on
Nothing
the roof.
structural.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could.
So you can stack them really
They
good
stack
because
on the
they
corners.
stack real
That's why
good,
there's
but
always that gap across
Yeah,
the...
but the sides are
These
are
have
terrible.
a
You
lot
can't
of
really
ridges
bury 'em.
built into them, and where they come down,
Mhm.
and then they cut in and then down. So the footprint is very different, and the angles of pressure are very different. So where you sit, there's actually earth down below there and shit. But they're fucking pretty cool. There's 5-6 companies in Tennessee that deal in Tennessee and Kentucky, and they seem to that's all they do, specialize in that shit.
Seems like
There's one. There's
it's a
one
big
right
industry then.
up by Jackson. When you go to Jackson, I can't think of the name of the road. The road. Where is
A lot of your Eagle building places sell storm shelters.
But this is they
Home
have
Depot
nothing but
does,
storm
too.
shelters out in front of the place. I can't think of the name of the road.
I feel like this would be I bet you I would assume a majority of their business goes to new buildings. Because it's easier. Yeah, it's easier to we're building a house. It's
But
easier
they
to get
retro 'em,
$6,000 up front than $6,000 after the
But
fact.
they'll come in.
Well,
They'll
yeah,
come in
yeah,
and just
yeah,
cut your garage floor.
Right.
You fucking epoxy back around it. It's very nice. So we would just have a hatch. We could pull the razors up, still park in the same place.
Yeah.
You just have to fucking open the hatch.
I every time we have one of these, we do one of these, or I listen to one of them. There's always something new I listen to. I never thought about that shit.
Yeah.
I can
now
count.
you can take a shipping container and bury it in the side of the hill, and then put back that
I've
way,
seen that.
and you're fine unless you have a major a major fucking tornado. The tornado kind of skids across the ground, but some of the stuff they're talking about, with 5s and shit, it picks up fucking slabs and shit, picks the concrete up out of the ground like crazy shit. So it'll cover 99% of the shit that's gonna happen. Mostly it's building falling down, debris.
Yeah.
So if we could put 8 people in there, 10 people, 12 people in there, and then if it happened, if something came daytime hours, fucking we just run out in the hill and fucking everybody gets in the hatch and we fucking close the hatch. Also, you mentioned Spirko Talk. We did that one. What?
Except for you and Toto.
Have you not seen the Simpsons, where Ned Flanders has this awesome bomb shelter, the end of the world's coming, and so people just keep showing up. They let them in, and eventually everybody's in the storm shelter in the bomb shelter except Flanders. Hey fellas, I'm working nights on a school at the moment. Recently got the notification my day pack will be here before I leave for Virginia and another Florida big lot. Thanks for the badass shit. Also, really need a coffee pouch to go with my multi-cam light day pack. How do I go about? I've never seen them on the site. They're on the site under Coffee Day Mystery Orders.
Coffee Day Mystery Order.
Search coffee. On the top right on every page of the website is a search bar. If you don't see it, scroll to the right on your phone. Put in coffee. It'll come up. It's there. Thanks for your hard work and keeping the podcast going. Skully, what do you think at this point about the Trump goose chase investigation?
Goose chase? I don't know anything about a goose chase
about the Russians and stuff.
Oh, if you're talking about the Russians, I never thought that there was any connection between Trump and the Russians anyway. So, I mean, they don't have anything. It's why they want to see his tax records. But the reality is, what are they going to find in his tax records? If you want to see somebody's tax records, instead of going after the guy who has not been in politics his entire life, let's look at Nancy, Dianne Feinstein, fucking Pelosi. Let's look at all their fucking tax records. Those almost billionaires that have done nothing but been in Congress. How's that possible?
I don't even think he's been audited every year for the last 20 years.
Not to mention his corporations have filed bankruptcy. You hear every other year he's bankrupt. So of course they've fucking been under a microscope. His shit's all out there.
But even still, he can't be doing anything illegal, right? Because he's been audited every year for the last 20 years.
Well, that's what I think it is. But if they get his tax records, they're not going to find anything. They're going to just because they don't even know what they're looking at. Those people are so stupid. But what I think the issue is Trump does not want to release his tax records solely because
they want them.
He does not want them to know how much money he has.
Yeah, I don't think it's so. You remember
he's not in there. He's not in their.
He's not in their club.
There's one picture, like the most tax thing you can see of Donald Trump. You ever see that? They put it on Times. It was like stacks of paper that he would have to sit and sign. They're all. I think he's either got like the greatest tax lawyer in the world, and they found every single, I don't want to say loophole, but way to use the system correctly. And there's no way like a businessman at his size is not doing business in other countries.
Well, the IRS tax code looks like this, right?
Right.
This much of it is what you have to pay.
Right.
This much of it's how you get out of paying it.
So I think like, and the problem is like, doesn't he have a hotel overseas somewhere?
Several.
He's got all
In Russia or somewhere
Several,
like that.
man.
Well, even
Trump
if he
Towers
did,
and shit.
yeah, like well, there's the proof right there. He's got a hotel that's successful near Russia. I was like, dude, get fucked. Like, you've done nothing but like the country hasn't done anything but grow and become better across the last 2 years. And let's not. You want to discredit him, then you got to discredit Obama when it went good or bad, Bush when it went good or bad,
Have you seen
Clinton when it went good.
How about Obama's birth certificate?
Have you seen the picture of Donald Trump shaking Ronald Reagan's hand?
No.
So there's this picture of Donald Trump shaking Ronald Reagan's hand.
Yeah.
And then a picture of Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi blaming Ronald Reagan for the condition of the country when Ronald Reagan was president. Doing the same thing now.
Oh, yeah.
Yet those are the only two motherfuckers who have been in politics that long. They're blaming all the people who are no longer in,
Have you ever gone coon hunting with dogs? Or hunted anything with the aid of dogs?
No, never. I was supposed to go up to Oregon and hunt mountain lion with Chuck Mawhinney. It just never came around, and they use dogs to hunt mountain lion.
Mm-mm.
We're gonna send you out and see if the dogs can find you.
I'm gonna be hunted by the dog.
Yes.
Do I get a suit?
No, not bite dogs. We're just gonna use like beagles and shit.
Once they find me, do I just sit down and pet them?
I
do
would.
I have to keep running?
I would do that.
Oh my God, what's my head start?
I would do that. Have you ever heard about the giants in the past, back before Noah, in the book of Enoch? I've been studying it lately. It's very interesting. Not sure if true, but very interesting. Yes, we've heard of them. Atlantis. I mean, there's things all around the world right now. Gates, and you could call them portals, whatever you want to call them. Right? There's entryways, archways, and there's several weird things about them. They were built for somebody larger than we are. A lot of the doorways, a lot of the entryways and stuff. But also, and there's hundreds of them all around the world. And when they mic them out and they measure them, they were made with the exact same equipment. Like they are all identical. And the stones and structures, they're put together with a dovetail that was manufactured to a tolerance that was made like almost like in the future. And they're found all over the world where people were not supposed to have come into contact with each other. So whoever put them there and built them, it's as though they were built in the exact same place. There's a lot of weird things, the math involved with the pyramids. And they're finding pyramids all over the world right now, new pyramids. That were built, that seem to have been built by the same people as well. So, yeah. If you look that shit up, you can spend fucking months looking at all that shit. The Sumerians, I think, is what you're talking about, though.
I heard an interesting story about South America, the pyramids down in South America, that they think that there was a civilization that had upward to 50 million people in it.
Yes,
and that
we just disappeared.
Well, so this is the story, and it 100% makes so much sense. In 1400, the Spaniards came over and started exploring. The first person to go down the what's the big river down there? That goes into the Amazon. Anyways, the first explorer was actually a Spaniard guy, and he, in his writings, was like, "Man, there's all these fucking cities, people living here. It's awesome."
But we introduced some disease that wiped them all out.
Smallpox. They say that smallpox killed everyone. So in 100 years, when the British finally when the British finally went back, they're like, man, nothing but jungle here. What the fuck? There ain't no people living here, and they actually talk shit about them.
Where's the grave site?
But recently,
That's what I was say, where are the bones?
But recently, using satellite imagery, they've found all these cities.
Yes.
They see
Yeah.
where all these places are at.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Shit's like
The jungle
crazy.
there's a different when you say bones. It's one thing to be cruising around the desert looking for bones, but the jungle fucking eats everything. We could take 1 million people down there right now, bury them, and in 50 years you're gonna be like, I thought we buried 1 million people down here. The fucking jungle eats everything.
Will Anderson says, Bible explained like a boss. John recommended this video before. Crazy shit. Yeah. I think that's in reply to the giants, Enoch and all that. So that's the pre-Bible basically. And if you look at that, there was a God that came down and created from one person, created a brother and sister, basically Adam and Eve. And if you look, that same story takes place in Egyptian lore also. Egyptian history. There was one which was split into two, and then they had offspring, and then those offspring had offspring, and that's the beginning of civilization. You can find that in most civilizations, most cultures. The names are just a little bit different. So who was that? Was that aliens, God? Call it whatever you need to call it. But it's there in most cultures. John and Skully, I'm about to complete the purchase of my first home. It's an off-frame modular. The price was so much cheaper than a stick-built house in sight. What's your opinion on off-frame modular purchases over having a house built on site? I don't know what the fuck that is.
Like
Like
come in
like
two
a kit
pieces.
home?
I think they come in 2-3
Sounds
pieces
like a-
and they get put together and then.
If that's the
connected.
case, I'll tell you that a lot of the shit is not normal. A lot of your stuff inside the home, and now it could have changed, but it's like Johnson. Johnson bought that mobile home, right? And then every time you go to Home Depot to fix something, nothing from Home Depot fit in the house. And that was kind of the same deal with some of those modular homes. I've seen one that was built on a basement, and they brought it in on 4 pieces and basically put it together, and then the roof kind of stood up or came this way, and then they just put it all together in place. But much of it was not like normal shit when you went in the house. Like, come time to work on the house, it wasn't all normal stuff. But I'm sure you just bought that house. I'm sure you know way fucking more about it than we do at this point. Oh, you gotta have watermelon. Can't wait to get a good watermelon. Man, I've got a fucking really good watermelon in it, don't I? There's a good fucking watermelon in there right now.
I've been eyeing it every time I walk in there.
You had some of it.
Well, yeah, it was a couple days ago.
How was it?
I keep eyeing the rest of it every time I walk into the
yeah,
kitchen.
Thumbs down, fuckers are the best. Help SOE make episode 99-1000. Share it. Maybe you can stop. 503 forever. Laugh my ass off. Thanks SOE crew for the awesome podcast. Brian Fraser. E_Edge. I found out about SOE from Haas USMC on YouTube 4 years ago and bought my first belt at Blade 3 years ago. We're going to be at Blade here in 10 days, man.
Yep,
Come see us.
10 days.
It's a great belt, and I use it every day. I heard about the podcast from Jack on TSP and have been listening for the last 50 podcasts. Keep up the great work. I look forward to seeing you guys at Blade in a few weeks. P.S. Did Skully get his lights for his tractor yet? My stepfather bought a Mahindra tractor from the local dealer. He did not get the 3-point arms and drawbar because it came with the backhoe attached. They were supposed to be included, though. After a month, he marched in and was told they were on order. He made the guy pull them off a tractor in the lot and left with them.
Attaboy.
They haven't been used once since the hoe never came off, but it was the principle
Yeah, hell
that
yeah, it's the
mattered.
principle that matters. That's why I wouldn't take. I didn't want to take my tractor until everything was there, because I knew
That would happen.
that it would be pulling teeth to get it. And even though everything showed up, I got my lights and radios, all that shit's in there, and I've been using the tractor. Even delivering it, they still didn't bring everything. I had to fucking still call and be like, hey, I'm missing an implement.
We used to do that shit all the time. Guys, dude sold a car, detailed it, and they were going to put it in the trailer at like 6 p.m. and ship it the next morning. and nobody looked the car over, and there was this monster gash right across the back, and it was going like a far ways apart, and it was like 4 o'clock, 4:30. Service manager came up to me and he was like, I got this car, and I got this car. I need you to take this bumper off, take this bumper, put it on like bumper. And I was like, bring him in. And he's like, you're gonna stay. I was like, bring him in. Quit talking about it. Go get the damn car. As I'm ripping. I can't tell you how many times we've killed a car on a lot just to rip parts out of it to put it in another car to ship the other car.
Do you think we could get a detail guy from a dealership to come out here on a weekend and do all the cars?
Yeah.
Just money, right?
I got a guy. I think I got a guy.
I mean, in theory,
But the problem, there's got to be mobile detailer. It's just what's it worth to you? You know what I mean? Like, like what's it? Because there's those companies. I mean, I was watching all these. You get into it. You start watching one YouTube
None
video.
of them are here, man.
But it's a $3,000 detail. Like, I'm not saying you.
Yeah, like Detail Works,
Yeah.
the dude from Gas Monkey. That's what he is.
So
He's
really,
$3,000.
is it really that bad to ship the car down to him for $400?
No, I need a dude to come.
You know
here.
what I'm saying?
I don't need color correction.
No,
shit.
fuck all
I need
that.
a dude to come here
Wash the cars.
and fucking wash and wax and clean 10 fucking cars. And while he's doing it, bother to open the fucking gas nozzle and open the fucking hood and fucking get the goddamn leaves out of there. That's all I just want the car clean. And when I open the tailgate, have at least sprayed that bullshit off. Like I got motherfuckers that were washing these cars. I got moss growing like on some of the trucks where they just didn't bother to fucking do it.
It's with what's going on in the detail industry nowadays. I don't think you're wrong. Like, I think that's a good idea, right? And it'd be a shit ton of money for a dude. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna put a number out there, but it'd be a good amount of money. And it'd probably take him 2 days to get 10 cars done correctly. If it's one guy. Now, is it worth? So let's say you have this guy come once a month,
right?
Once every 2 months, somewhere in there, right? Where would the return be if you did send him to a place in Nashville, right? Had him. Not really like super color correct, but like buff them real badass, clean them real badass, put the ceramic shit on there, and then all you'd have to do is go out there and hit it with a hose and an air compressor. Like the guy at work had the foreman had his car ceramic like color corrected, ceramic coated, and he would every week, not even run it through the car wash, walk out there with the power wash, spray it all in, drive it in, and fucking hook his air truck to the thing and.
How much does it cost to do that?
$600-700.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Now, if you get the dude that does, I mean, the bottle only costs $150 or $200, but the labor comes in because he's color correcting. And what color correcting is there's no paint spraying. It's just they're just working the clear, and they got to know what they're doing because they're thinning the clear.
But I mean, even if we're talking,
it'll take 4 or 5 hours.
You're talking high-end guy, the guy.
The guy.
What are we talking? $1,000 to do a car?
About $3,000.
Yeah.
Across like 40 hours of work.
And it's about $1,000 to ship the car, like to Texas.
Yeah, there and back. There and back. Yeah, there and back would be about $1,000.
So what if we don't fuck with color correction? Let's just wrap the cars and then fucking.
I would do that.
Wrap the cars, spray them.
I would wrap the cars and then ceramic the wrap.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. Then it's literally like, who cares about drying? You're not gonna get wet spots on multicam black. You know what I mean? Like, just fucking hit it with water and call it a day.
Can we drop the cars off? Do we have to go move them, or will they take them over to the ceramic coating guy? Or
a lot of those places will handle everything.
The wrap guy might even do it over at Wrap Lab.
Yeah. See, like that would be. I really think that'd be easy because for me, I would just take one. You know what I mean? Bring it back when it's done. And, you know what I mean? Like
drop one off.
Yeah, drop one off, pick one up.
We'd have to buy it, like if we're wrapping them all, we'd have to buy all it. Like multicam black is the problem. Doing it is no problem.
Yeah.
They have to have the fucking material there, and then you got to get the appointment. So we would need an appointment like back to back, like you're 6 weeks, fucking 3 months out.
I would do more than obviously one.
Right.
Yeah, it'd be cool to have an array of camo wrapped vehicles. And then you could do the accents. You get the door handles and the mirrors.
Right. Put a flat black cock on one and a flat matte red cock on the other one.
Now, the cool thing would be like multicam black.
Yeah.
But instead of the multicam pattern, cock pattern.
They can print it. I mean,
that would be cool.
Yeah, they can print right
with
on
the gradient and stuff like that.
Print right on it, and then they can clear coat over it.
Yeah, you can cock a doodle all over your back window.
Cockmonger. The weapons collection. Hilti is the best power tool manufactured by far. Pricey but durable, far beyond any other tool. That's cool.
Did you go into Lowe's?
We were talking about cordless. I went into Lowe's yesterday.
Which one?
In Jackson.
Jackson. I just went.
They did not have any fucking DeWalt chainsaws.
I went into Dixon.
Yes.
And they are pushing
Craftsman
hard. It is fucking red in that motherfucker.
Yeah,
they're pushing Craftsman hard.
Where?
In Lowe's?
Craftsman?
Craftsman, yeah.
Lowe's
they're pushing it hard.
Lowe's bought Craftsman.
Trying to get their money
Or
back.
at least bought the name. They're not pushing Cobalt anymore. They're really the only Cobalt shit I saw. Now, I didn't directly look for it, but the only stuff that really jumped out Cobalt was the cordless fucking yard tools. Because I was over there looking for DeWalt, and I noticed that
I've used a lot of DeWalt. I think it's just like it's a preference. They got to be all pretty similar.
I think
spec.
it's once you have a couple pieces
Right.
of one, you stay with it because the batteries.
Yeah.
165 for a pair of shoes isn't too bad. Many guys in the construction field spend 150, 200 on boots, damn near every year. So why not spend that on a nice pair of shoes that'll last 5 to 10 years using John's method? You talked me into it. Can't believe I'm saying this. I'm going shoe shop. Well, you just got Solomon's brand new ones, right? Are those them? That's not them, is it?
These are them.
You hosed them off.
I
Pierre
worked them
came
out
in.
my
I'm
hand.
like, are those your new shoes, motherfucker? You cannot ride in any of my fucking cars. Like, I literally got in a truck so that Pierre could ride with us yesterday.
And they didn't ride with you.
But how? So, what do you think of the shoes?
This is fifth, sixth pair.
What do you think of them?
They're comfortable. Yeah. Now I need an alignment, so I wear tires weird. But like so I wear the fucking the old pair I got outside. You can just see they're fucking destroyed. But they get to a
point. Do you need
point.
Forrest Gump braces, or do we gotta break your ankle? What happens?
So, I mean, the breaking the ankle would be the most effective way.
Probably. Do you want me to break it and then have somebody else fix it, or do you want to try to fix it here?
What's the fastest way to get back to work?
You can work with your legs.
I understand, but I'm saying if you break them and don't fix them, now we got to bring somebody in and just break it and fix
He
it.
thinks I won't break his ankle.
I know you will.
It'd be a great video.
Hold on, if you really get all amped up over the 10 millimeter,
What do you mean?
like you were animated.
I love the 10 millimeter.
All right, I think I'm gonna go buy a 10 millimeter and just every like
I love
just
the
flash
10
it to you every
millimeter.
once in a while.
I love the idea of the
See
10 millimeter.
that smile there.
And you're not doing the John Willis method. I know I know the idea is that you're doing
No, the John Willis method is by 12 at a time.
Yeah, the John Willis method is, I really like the color of those shoes.
Yeah.
Buy me all of them. That is the John Willis method. It's why when you go to Walmart and you're like, I need a really heavy-duty electrical cord. And they're like, sorry, sir, we are completely out of them. Because John was like, I want all of them.
You've been trying to work that in for the last hour. Now you got your moment. You want to fill them in on all of them?
Well, we do have all of those.
No.
So my thought is we had a
Post the question like you posted it to me.
I don't know if we can mention his name.
You don't have to mention his name, location, anything. A
this is
client
my-
I know what we're
bought.
talking about.
Here's my thing.
Yeah.
If you're a member of the royal family, right? So you're a member of the royal family. You're
royal
not
family.
Yeah, you're not the guy, but you're up there, right? You're a couple of killings and you might be running the
You have a lot of money and you're bored.
a couple of killings, you might be running the kingdom. You never know. So if you're that guy, right? Do you really sit in front of the computer? Do you really sit in front of the computer in the wee hours of the night going, I want that shirt. Ooh, they have that. Let me get the 5X. Do you really do that? Or
You have a shopper.
do you just go,
I can tell you for a fact he has
buy
a
me
guy.
all of them?
He has a guy.
So here's my theory on that.
I've spoken to the guy.
90% of the time, I feel like that's the answer. He tells the guy, you know what I mean?
Get everything. My
I
friend.
believe
All
in
of
this
them.
very specific situation, with his interaction with this company, it's actually him.
I believe that. He's getting them for his boys.
Only that.
Yeah, I know
Only that. And- But
I know,
his
I
group-
know for a fact because
Yeah.
I contact him,
Yeah.
and sometimes I hear back from him.
Yeah.
And sometimes I hear back from the guy.
Yeah.
But like we do that. Like we'll go in because you know goddamn well if you find something that this local fucking Walmart has that you want and you're going to need more of it, it's never going to be there again. A good example is they had these almonds that came in cans and they were chili lime. So I started buying them, and they were good. And then I went and bought all of them, and they've never fucking had them again. More recent one is the lemon lime sugar-free soda, the key lime soda that I use to make margaritas with. Zero calories, zero carb. They no longer carry. They've just ceased carrying. Like literally, I went in and bought like some kind of tuna they had that was pretty good. They never carried it again. Like if Walmart has something and we are going to buy it on a semi-consistent basis, they will cease carrying. It's like,
What about Amazon?
Amazon sometimes has it. I have not been able to find this fucking soda. That's why there's 50 different kinds of lemonish, limeish soda sitting in the entryway.
The fix.
Because rather than just buying one, you have to buy like a case of it from Amazon. I'm literally taking it and putting it in the dump. Like, this is shit. Okay, don't buy this one. This is shit. Don't buy this one.
So we always joke John Willis problems, right?
Yeah,
like
that is John Willis.
Solomon is not making your color anymore, or Walmart
That's
fucks
why-
you on your chili
That's
lime.
why I just bought.
almonds.
I just bought 4 more pairs of these, and I
Right.
took them to put them in the closet, and I have 12 pairs of them now.
So I believe he's bordering fuck you money.
Who?
You.
No.
I think people think fuck you money is like piles of billions where you can, I
When
think
you see some giraffes running around here,
that's when you that's your definition of
I
fuck
think-
you.
live, like when you see a zoo out there,
Yeah. That's,
How many?
that-
Wait a minute. Though.
but to me, fuck you money is that like I
How
like
many-
this. I'm buying 12. Fuck you.
How much longer? How much longer until you're done making your payments?
What we talked about yesterday.
3 more years.
I think that's when you have fuck you money.
I think they're gonna be really surprised once we tell that story.
Yeah, I think that's. But I think that once that is out there, I think then you'll be like. Well, I mean, because I feel like.
The goal.
I feel like here's the thing. You don't know John as long as I do. I feel like that's a weird statement because when John was working in the garage in Tierra Santa,
Yeah.
he didn't have fuck you money, but John has always been like, fuck you, I'm going to do it the way I want to
But
do
that,
it.
but see, I think it's
So
the
it kinda didn't
application. Like my buddy defined it as they were walking somewhere, and this beggar came up to his boss. Right, he works at a law firm. Guy's got a bunch of money, and the guy was like, "Hey man, you got any money?" And he like pulled some money out and was like, and he was like, "That's my definition of fuck you money. Like where you could just pay somebody to shut up." And I was like, "No, he's just like a shit." You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he just fuck off. You know what I mean? Like
All I heard is you're scared, so you gave him all your money.
I defend. We have to figure out the full definition of it. I feel like he's right there.
When you buy a Lamborghini and cut the top off of it.
Bam did that.
No,
Yeah.
that's not fuck you money.
No, why
that
not?
because there was a camera there.
Uh,
That brought fuck you money. He was like, "This will be cool." Like how? Like let's shoot Tyler with BB guns.
So it has to be something that doesn't create any more wealth.
yeah, it's the spending of. I think it's more the
No,
spending
if you
of
got
money.
it dialed in right, fucking everybody wants to see that shit. It's always going to create more wealth.
Well, right, but like, obviously, all of them has fuck you money, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
you know what I mean? But I think like
Well, I
being
was
able
just-
to buy 12 shoes.
I was just trying to put that into perspective
Right.
in the sense of, like I saw the order.
Yeah.
I did not see the name. I didn't
You
look
knew
to see
right
the
away
name.
though.
No, I didn't.
Well,
I
we
did
were
not-
talking because I said, "Hey, there's this dude in China."
Mm-hmm.
That's who I assumed it was, and he brought it back up. I go, "Is that the dude?"
Yeah,
And he's like, "No, this is another dude."
yeah.
Well, and I had the order, and I'm like, this guy just bought a shitload of shirts. Maybe we should throw in some bags.
stuff,
So I
right.
took it to John. And I'm like, hey man, how about we throw this stuff in there? And then he's like, well, who is it? And I flipped to the page, and I'm like, oh, that's who it is.
Yeah.
That's who it is.
Just
And
him.
So I was trying to put it in perspective. Is I said, man, somebody just spent a lot of money on shirts,
Swag, on
right?
swag.
On shirts.
Yeah.
But then in my head, once I saw who it was, I'm like,
That's probably
Man,
the
he
smallest.
probably has-
All the same size,
No,
no. I said he probably,
singularities,
a lot of
One
singles.
one of each.
no, only limited in
Yeah.
in that. That's all we have. Like
Yeah.
when we start, like every time we drop Striders,
Yeah,
I had to drop them at different times of the day
right,
because he would buy all of them.
right. Catch him asleep so we can so the
real.
peasants can buy the
For real,
knives.
because he would buy all of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just, in my head, I'm like, man, somebody spent a lot of money. But
Yeah.
in reality, like, he's probably got toilet paper allowance that's
Yeah.
more than the shirts he bought.
So I pulled an order up today. I'm gonna type it in
Yeah.
or whatever. 9 months old.
Okay.
Customer. We've been a customer for 9 months.
400 orders.
So it's like 70 orders, an average of 110 a piece. I was like, man, holy, like I obviously wrote that name down, put it to the side, and like
send them $110.
Yeah, I will.
Order,
That's happening tonight. But I like what blew me away was because I'm starting to see those numbers. So the number of orders, the average per RO, the total spent is not really like throwing me off because I'm seeing that same across 5 years. This is like
frequent
since the beginning of the year.
We have a guy. What's pretty funny. There is a guy, and
a lot of new orders.
A couple years ago, John fucking blew him up because he was just obnoxious.
I know what you're talking about.
Crazy.
I know exactly what you're talking
fucking
about.
Crazy obnoxious. John blew him up. So we collected every order he had. It was like collect all his orders, put him in the corner.
He's in our system as the third because we've locked him twice.
We're not fucking touching this. We're not touching this shit. We're just not touching it.
Yeah.
And it got put in a corner and left there for a while. And then John's finally like, I'm like, what are we gonna do with this shit?
It was every day. He's like, hey, here's this. By the way, here's 50 of these. This guy has an order. I'm like, refund him. What are we
gonna do with this?
We got tired of refunding him. I'm like, just fucking ship it to him.
So we've blown this guy up.
We gave him fucking thousands of dollars back.
And he is still like
ordering
like
well,
all of our stuff.
Not only is that, you probably don't realize he posts every day on our live.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. Right when you said it, because I remember him blow he was in a group, and people were losing their mind, and there was this whole and I was like, what? But I was like, wait a minute, how do you lose it like that, and keep ordering and keep buying?
This is no shit. This is how crazy. This is how crazy it is.
He was had a bad day that day, man.
Yeah, I mean, what happens?
He was in the argument with John. John's like
face to face.
No.
Oh, okay.
The Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm gonna blow this guy up. And while he's saying that, he's ordering shit. No shit. That's just how crazy.
Maybe he's trying to make himself a discount code.
That's just how crazy.
No, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I believe he's been to the shop. I believe we've met.
Yeah.
At this point, I wouldn't know who he was if he walked in the door until he identified himself.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of people like, hey, you need to.
Is he in the system under his real name?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know who he is.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He's as the third now because we locked 2 fucking accounts on it. So what you're seeing right now is nothing. It doesn't even scratch the surface. But what jumps out at me when I'm shipping stuff?
That might be him then.
What jumps out at me when I'm shipping stuff is that, like, dudes ordering our shirts, like, they're ordering just nothing other than a piece of clothing that has our company name on it to represent the company.
Every single guy that bought a shirt,
yeah,
I wrote, thanks for rocking our gear, thanks for
that's
wearing
exactly
the shirt.
what I was doing.
That's like just the shirt. That's all you ordered, especially now with
thanks
what you
for
do.
Representing. Thanks
that's
for being
exactly. I mean, there's 3-4 variations of it,
yeah.
and I put that on
if
every
you're
single
paying for something that has nothing but our fucking company name on it.
Yeah,
that's fucking big.
Right.
And then just like you're starting to see it just a couple days you've done shipping, like you just recognize these names. You're like, fuck, I ship something to these people. Like literally, we have 5 dudes we ship something to every single day, and I don't know who they are.
So there's I don't know if it's like a sixth sense or something, but it's like, because depending on the item, I'm not gonna look the order up. You know what I mean?
Right,
like like some stuff,
you'll
it's like
start recognizing the name.
So I'll just like some stuff I'm not even writing stuff because it's just something tiny, right?
Not only that, dude, I don't write.
Right.
My fucking hand starts hurting.
Right.
With a couple hours.
But there was like I would look at what they ordered and I'd be like, I bet you this guy's got this is his first order or less than like you just get you type it in and sure shit 1 order or 2 order or 5 order.
Yeah, that's his gateway drug. He thought he bought a fucking he thought he bought a little fucking hit of fucking crack in the pipe, and really we just fucking mainlined him with heroin.
Right. Yeah, I'm starting to get a feeling, right? And the other thing was like the one. I bet you I know who we're talking about, like his real name, because I mean that's probably his account.
JP or his initials.
No, but like it's just names I've never seen. Like that dude I told you about. I nowhere, anywhere seen his name on a live stream. And maybe I mean like I don't know everybody. There's thousands of people.
There's a lot of people with female names on our shit that I thought I'm talking to a chick all along, and it's a fucking dude, or vice versa.
Right.
You just don't know.
Yeah. And I feel like I found a couple things. I had a couple that chicks bought stuff for their dudes.
Yeah.
Like one order, but a very specific thing.
There's a lot of dudes that order under their chicks' accounts too.
Yeah, it's a very specific thing to be a first order.
I would love to try some Solomon's, but I have giant feet and spend a fortune on shoes already. I didn't see anything above 14 in Solomon's website. I have a 16
Jesus.
4X wide feet and normally just get a New Balance brand shoe. I can't even find any in the cool colors also. I got the option of black, white. Sometimes I get lucky and can find some brown ones. Being a giant Sasquatch Mongoloid sucks sometimes. Arne, man, I don't know what.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's the future though. I'll bet
There's chicks all
shoe
over the
companies.
place. There's chicks all over the place having their pinky toes cut off so they can fit those little squishy Louboutins and stuff. Just have a couple of your toes cut off. You'll be fine.
Yeah, there's probably just start looking at
I'll bet there's
custom.
some custom
I'll bet
shoes,
you can
yeah.
get a custom shoe made. I mean, it's going to be
And
expensive.
if
Shaq
not,
got shoes.
you can definitely
Yeah.
get custom boots made. Yeah. What up, guys? Got my girlfriend the diaper bag in Typhon a week or so ago, and she fucking loves it. And I've been pimping the SOE brand and has been pimping the SOE brand to her friends. Unfortunately, her friends aren't with anyone you would call a real man, so trying to get them to buy them anything is like trying to get a hippie to cut their dreadlocks. It was awesome to get a handwritten message with a personal thank you. That goes above and beyond customer service in my book. Could you read the writing? If you couldn't read the writing, it's probably my handwriting. Also, had a chance to meet and hang out with James Yeager and a few other people this past weekend, the USCCA convention in Pittsburgh. Geeked out a bit at first, but talked to him and the guys for hours after the show and ended it with dinner. I've always had a respect for him, but after that night, you can see how good of a dude he really is. Pisses me off and boggles my mind why anyone would talk shit about the guy in general, especially when they don't have the testicular fortitude to say shit to his face. What you'll find when you really start looking, if you take a few minutes to look into any of that, a lot of the dudes talking all that shit, it's very few people talking a large amount of shit, and many of them have multiple accounts. Like a lot of that shit, and you'll see somebody say some shit on my page and they will literally copy paste it and change the name to talk shit on his page. There's a very small group of people investing a lot of time in that bullshit. You guys are next on my list to meet and hang out with. Perhaps some cheap labor. Take it easy, guys, and keep up the awesome shit you do. It's good that you met James first, because had you met us first, you probably would have been a little underwhelmed. Like, James is super cool, but whatever happened there, we're gonna take it up a notch. So we got more toys. Like, you want to go shooting, you go to James. You want to do anything else, you come over here. The Mark 203 320 fires 40 by 46 grenades, while the Mark 19 fires 40 by 53. So theoretically, you could fire a 203 round in a Mark 19, but the lower propellant charge would affect range and weapons function. And Mark 19 rounds would destroy the aluminum 203s, assuming you could close the breach. What you said. That's exactly what you said.
It is almost exactly what I said.
Let's talk about grills, charcoal or propane. Pros and cons of both. Who makes the best one? I don't have time. Like, I don't know how you motherfuckers sit in a bathroom for fucking 10, 15, 20 minutes. Especially a motherfucker who reads in the bathroom. When I sit on a toilet, I am not in a fucking bathroom more than fucking 120 seconds. Like, we can't even fucking count what the things I do in minutes. We count everything by seconds. Like, that's no bullshit. I do not have time for fucking charcoal to heat up and cook down. Like, I'm going to pour some gasoline, catch some shit on fire, and then it's going to be poisonous. We're using fucking propane because it is fast. It is at heat. Amanda can melt down a fucking $1,000 grill in like fucking 3 minutes with propane.
But is it
What do you use?
propane? Who the fuck's got time for charcoal?
Hobbyists. It's
We don't-
like
we
it's
don't-
like they want the Can you taste the difference?
We light a fire here twice a year that burns for 6 days. Like, the fire goes out,
It burns longer
and
than
you
that,
come
man.
back in 2 weeks later, and that motherfucker's back on fire again. We light a fire that creates its own weather and dries the forest out and catches it on fire all at the same time.
There's one time,
We-
one appropriate
When
time.
we have a fire, it's so hot you can't cook shit over it.
There's one appropriate time for charcoal. When you're going to like a public beach,
Who
a
the
public
fuck?
park.
Who the fuck has time? Who's going to a goddamn public beach? That's right up there. What, you ever see me in a fucking pajama party? That's when you'll see me at a fucking beach. You see me on a beach, I own that
Oh
motherfucker.
man, John Willis in a beach pajama party.
You want to see a pajama party? We'll
That's
rent out a
fuck-
fucking
hey.
nightclub in Las Vegas.
Hey,
That's
that's
when we'll have
fuck
a
you.
pajama
That's
party.
That's
money
fuck
right
you
there.
money
John
right
Willis
See?
on his
That's-
beach
I'm telling
in
you,
his
he's
pajamas.
right there. He's right there. I'm rooting for you. What?
JD Kuzik, where'd you even find pajamas with feet in them?
I didn't have
Yeah,
any.
get out
I
of here.
didn't have any. You
JD
go back to that
Kuzik.
picture.
I love the
did
taste
not have
of
them
food
on there.
cooked on charcoal, but propane is so convenient. That's what I'm talking about. You want to cook some charcoal fucking food? We will eat some charcoal food.
Yeah.
Chef does some amazing shit, and I couldn't tell you how the fuck he cooked it. Like, we're ruined. Like, literally, Chef makes lunch on a daily basis. I go to fucking expensive ass restaurants. Like if you went to some of the restaurants we go to, you couldn't get in that motherfucker for 6 weeks. We are lucky that we know people that run some restaurants. We go into these fucking restaurants and we're like, this is good, but like we eat this shit for lunch every fucking
And
day.
Chef does weird shit too. Like when you're talking about like charcoal or grill or whatever, Chef will do something that'll just
He's
make
cooked
you,
it 5 different ways.
Yeah, you're like, how did you make that? And he's like, in the frying pan. You're like, what? I mean, you can't cook steaks, and the motherfucker just does.
He's like, no, it marinated for 17 days.
Yeah,
And
he
then
does fucking
and
some
then
amazing
I used
shit.
the sous vide for 25 hours. Like, 25 hours? Where was that running at? Oh, I took it home, and it's been cooking at home for 3 days. And then I had it in the car lighter. And then I had it in the car at 400 degrees for 2 hours. And then I brought it in, and I put it in the freezer and froze it, and it broke the capillaries. And then we threw it on the grill.
Yeah, that's Chef is.
And then I poured sugar all over it, and it lit it on fire. Just listen to episode 99-6, and they are getting short. People are not commenting as much as I am. Just as
Oh,
guilty.
Jesus.
God damn, woman.
I got you.
No more. My goal is to start your little comments. Patriot girl. What's
Is that
Patriot
Patriot?
chick? Yeah.
There.
No.
No.
Oh,
Arnett.
I saw her right there.
Just second page.
Jesus,
I can't
no.
do this.
No, that's not happening.
God damn.
Thank you for your.
Okay, let me give it a try.
Give it a try. Give it a try. Get
Just
in
as
there.
guilty as anyone else. No more. My goal is to start commenting on every new video when they come out with 3 topics that hopefully will spark some conversation and help you guys going. First one will always be about myself. The second will always be about my father. He was an amazing man and an inspirational father. The third will be about some random topic, just whatever comes to mind that day. So here goes. 1. I love my job. I'm a paramedic in Southwest Missouri. I just kind of fell into this profession by accident, and thank God, I think you mean thanks. Thank God every day that I am able to keep doing it. I was working at a Walmart on nights, just kind of farting along in life, paying my own bills and hanging out with my buddies on my nights off. Life was kind of in a rut. A new kid came to work there, kind of chubby kid. We became friends, and he told me I need to come join the fire department. He said it was fun. You get to play cards, drink beer, and see a bunch of chicks that you don't get to have sex with. He didn't say that. That's what I imagine happens at our reserve fire department. You get to drive fast and make lots of noise. You get to kick indoors and spray water on some people. I got to do that. I've been involved in 3 structure fires that I didn't actually light. It sounded fun. I was actually in the New York Times actually wrote up a thing on me on one of them. It sounded, because I was delivering papers for the New York Times when it happened. It sounded fun, but I am not in good shape by any means, so I informed him that I didn't exactly have the body of a fireman, no 6-pack abs. I got like 5.5 right here. They're coming. No 6-pack abs. You have them. You just have to uncover them. His reply was, no man, this is a volunteer fire department. You can be fat. I joined the department and it was really fun. They sponsored an EMT class a few months after I joined, and it was free to me. I had no medical knowledge before that at all, but I love learning, so I signed up. It was a rude awakening on very interesting subjects. I got my EMT license, used to get a job on the ambulance, then used a loan option from the ambulance company to pay for my paramedic. I was very that's a trip. So you go work there, and then they give you a loan that you have to pay back to
Be a paramedic.
That's what we should do. Like, I'm gonna have to. You're gonna have to pay to use my shipping software.
Okay.
What the fuck kind of deal is that? We need to figure that one out. I was very fortunate to have some good calls during the training and career. That's because you're in a small little town. Like, as soon as you get schooled up, you're going to leave like everybody else did.
That's why they loaned it out.
Yeah. I was very fortunate to have some good calls during my training and my career where my presence actually made a difference in the lives of my patients. These experiences motivated me and made it solid in my mind that I had found a career I can love and feel good about. With rare exception, I have looked forward to going into work every day over the last 8 years. I'm thankful every day that I am blessed to work with such good people and able to help make people's lives better most days. 2. My father was a member of the UDT Team 12 in Vietnam. Wow. I say in because he spent
Billy Stojak?
a large portion his time during the war in country. I plan to tell some of the stories he passed on to me about his time in service. A lot of the stuff Skully talks about reminds me of the stories my dad used to tell me. He told me about a time they had to steal the supplies that they had ordered from a sergeant who wanted a bribe. They didn't feel like fucking with that, so they just stole the deuce-and-a-half truck. He said the best way to hide a stolen truck from the MPs was to switch the license plates from a Jeep and the truck you had just taken. Apparently, everyone was too busy or lazy to fuck with looking up the plate numbers. Anyways, I think it means the truck they stole ended up being the wrong truck. They had stolen a truckload of steaks and strawberries meant for officers' mess by accident.
That's why they were looking for it.
Like any good soldier, they decided to throw a barbecue on the beach. There's another motherfucker sitting on the beach. He was busy not killing
I bet they
people
were
like
using
that.
briquettes.
Bet you it wasn't his beach.
He said, yeah, I'll bet he didn't own the beach. He said they invited the local nurses and the Australian forces that were there. He said those guys were always fun and never ran out of beer. What are your thoughts, John and Skully, on reloading ammunition? Several guys I know do it. They seem to like it, and common theme is if you have a gun with expensive ammo or an obscure caliber, it is worth doing. I know this was kind of long. My comments won't always be. I just love the podcast and hope it never ends. Let's keep this going. Arne Wayland, paramedic and professional car herder. Car herder, I like that.
I mean, it's not like the old days where you're really saving a lot of money by reloading. The ammunition community is so big now with manufacturers that you can get it as cheap as reloading. It's more of just like a hobby thing to be able to know how to do it, or if you're like Pierre and you want to shoot a 1911 and 38 Super in your IPC competitions, then you want to reload that shit so you can lower the amount of powder in there, so it's just squibbing out of there like a 380 or some shit.
I'm sure.
But it's hobby. It's good to know how to do, but fuck, man, you can't beat Walmart.
All the gun people that I've bumped into, trust anybody that I know that has anything to do with firearms.
Don't shoot reloads.
There's one person that I would probably, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but probably trust shooting their reloads, and that's Kent.
Oh, Kent Rush, yeah. That's like his gun only holds one bullet.
But my point is,
Have you seen the way he fucking reloads? Have you seen it?
Under a microscope, like counts the grains, weighs the grains.
That's my point.
He's
weighs
got a
the
fucking.
grains.
He has got a
That's my
chamber.
point.
He's like putting the. He reload. He's like. He had one of his wife's guns, and he's like, "I want you to shoot this." It's a fucking whatever. And I'm like, "Got any ammo for it?" He goes, "I'll reload it right now." And he goes in there and he does. It's normal reloading,
Right.
but he puts this fucking. He's got his powder, everything in this barometric chamber, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" I go, "What the fuck is it in there for?" He goes, "If the air conditioner turns on, it's going to change the." I'm like, "You got to be kidding me, bro! You got to be kidding me with this." Yeah, his ammunition.
So I learned out of the last class, 20 degrees, shift one MOA,
Yeah.
up and down.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that for the first time. Same ammo, same gun, same
Yeah,
everything.
20 degrees.
20 degrees. Make one up and down shift one MOA.
But it depends if you're in the north or the south on which way the Earth's turning right then.
Oh, that moment.
Coriolis
Well,
is
it's supposed to. From my understanding,
Borealis.
from my understanding, is the higher the temperature,
And the
hi-
corona
the,
effect.
the the temperature shift, the direction of the temperature shift is the direction of the.
I can give you all that stuff if you're interested
Who
in all
told
that.
you
But
that?
you can do
Pat Mac?
you
Oh,
can do
then I
we
definitely
call it
believe it.
we call it
Yeah.
calc and place. So in
What do you mean you can give it to me? You have like a booklet
yeah
in English?
Yes, in English.
Okay.
What, you need it in Hebrew? I can get it in Hebrew.
I'll take both.
But
And
yeah,
I'll
it's
translate it.
it's so. For example, if you zero your rifle at Camp Pendleton,
Yeah.
and then you have to go kill somebody in Colorado, if you're relying on the data that you received at Camp Pendleton, you are going to miss your target because of the barometric pressure, the
Correct.
altitude, and all that
Correct.
shit. So,
But if
you
you're
can
going
figure
to
it
kill
all out.
people, there's not a place to zero your rifle real quick, or adjust. Like, come, like I feel like
I don't know if you got a hey ho in.
I mean, yeah, it just dep-
You gotta.
I don't
take
think
your,
I don't.
take your
We
test
never.
shots from the airplane.
We never.
race the bullet down.
We never ran it. I never ran into a situation where you couldn't BZO prior to. So, like, even when we went into Somalia, in theory, there was nowhere in Somalia where we could do that. So they fucking stopped the ship so we could fucking check our dope on our rifles at sea. So
What were you shooting at?
regular targets.
Buoys.
No, you put target stands up and shoot regular
On the
pasties.
ship.
Yeah, on the ship.
I mean, the ship's gotta be huge, right?
Yeah, it's a
I pictured like you just shooting
throwing
seagulls.
cans
Seagulls
and shit, seagulls and shit. Yeah.
Ed's Manifesto just announced he's going to be on Rogan. Ed has been on Rogan. That's been up for over a week now, probably. I spoke with Ed yesterday. He said that I am definitely his better-looking brother. And he said that Ed'll be, for you guys that don't know, Ed'll be at Blade Show.
That's somebody I'm excited to meet.
Yeah, you'll like him. He's fucking
seems cool.
totally cool dude.
Yeah.
You won't talk about any Ed's Manifesto shit. I mean, unless you want to.
No.
We'll take him out. He'll go out to dinner with us or something. Okay, the Baby Shark song. Is that the kids' song y'all sing? I looked it up because it's always singing it. We have Combat Cock do. Combat Cock. You're probably too late. They're probably sold out. They sold out like fucking the first hour we had them
A lot
up.
of them today.
We will have some available at Blade Show. Skully, did you ever shoot a gun when you were in the military?
Jesus.
If so, was it loud and did it startle you? John Williams, your band.
Only the
don't,
Navy.
don't even give him the satisfaction.
No.
Only the Navy what?
Only the Navy.
SR-25, where the suppressor shot down the field.
No, only the Navy has guns.
Mike did
The
that.
Marine Corps doesn't have any guns. We have
Mike
weapons.
did that at the range.
Who did?
Mike.
Yeah, but
Well, then
Mike,
Mike-
that's okay that Mike did it. These were Navy SEALs.
He went to the range with the new can. I guess it wasn't threaded out all the way. Kapow!
Yeah.
And I was like, this can's got a weird mount on it because we're fucking around with stuff in the shop. And he goes, yeah, because I shot the other can. I shot
I can
the
tell
can
you
down,
that-
I had to change my
I can
mount.
tell you that. You ever see when they made the little? Sure. Oh, we can say this. We used to make little suppressors when we were children in 1 gallon Mountain Dew bottles. I don't know why they were called
Hypothetically,
Mountain Dew.
at a really young
You'd
age.
wrap them up with SOS pads and just all in the same direction. Wrap them all up super tight. And on a 1022, you could put that at the end of your 1022 and fire it. You get 10 rounds out of it before you start hearing it. And the first time you hear, you just hear that metal slide, very distinct sound on a 1022, just cycling.
Yeah.
But by the 10th round, you kind of hear that shit. Well, I wanted to fire my HK91. So I put that a suppressor like that. I never made them. I don't remember where they came from. One of my shithead friends in school making them, right? So we put it on the HK91, and I'm on my mom's balcony. I'm going to fire it down.
That's gonna be
I'm gonna
good.
fire it. So I'm up here, and the neighbors all around are down here, right? We had a 2-story house. When I fired that, it was to my surprise, it was much louder than firing an HK91 normally with no ear pro. And we never did find any of the suppressor. Like, the pieces were fucking all over the place, and it dug a trench. So, like, this is like mom's on the way home. She's going to be pulling up in the driveway in about 5 minutes, and we're trying, like, it fucking dug a trench. It's like it pushed the whole suppressor in the ground for, like, fucking 8 feet probably, and it just kept getting deeper and deeper and deeper. Mom always came home to some crazy shit. We used to put, we'd take a paint can and put newspaper all around it. I bet they don't even have newspapers anymore. So we'd take this spray can of paint and we'd put newspaper, a little bonfire around it, light it, and then get off in the distance and shoot it with a BB gun. And it would always catch the paint and go and just spin around, fire. But sometimes you would see it over the house because the garage came down, so it's like 1 story, half a story over here, and you could see it. Mom's coming home, and like, it burnt the fuck out of the grass. So I've got the sprinklers on to extinguish the on-fire grass. So Mom comes home, and there's burnt grass, and there's fucking burnt newspaper all over the place. The can, and I'm out there mowing it, trying to mow the wet grass to get rid of the burn marks off the grass. Mom always came home to some shit. I had a skunk. We had caught a skunk in a live catch trap. So my buddy John Wilson, I shot his tooth out with a BB gun. He shot me on the end of the nose. That's what this scar is. So John Wilson caught it. We caught this skunk at this pond called the Dishwasher in Tier Santa. It's still there to this day. So he's like, I'm like, what do we do with it? He's like, well, you drown it. I'm like, well, how are we going to get the skunk without getting sprayed? He's like, well, you just got to be really slow. So we drowned this skunk, and it didn't fucking spray or anything. We have this skunk, and we put the trap in there, and we're like, is it dead yet? I don't know. So you pull it up, and you're like, holy shit, it's not dead. Push it back down, right? So finally we have this drowned skunk. We're going to skin this out. We have this little shed my grandpa built me in the back where we're just skinning it. If you'd have come in there nowadays, they'd be like serial killer.
Yeah.
Like the Chainsaw Massacre shit. But John was picking up like coyotes off the freeway and shit, and we're skinning like we just had all. I don't know what we were going to do with them, but I probably should have been a taxidermist. So we've got this skunk, and I'm skinning this fucking thing out, and I only own one pair of shoes, and they're these gray like Brooks. I remember to this day. And I'm in the 8th grade, so my first classes are the bungalows at school out in like trailers, right? So I'm skinning this thing out, and I hit a scent gland or something, and it's like Kim light juice. It literally like glows, and I watch it in slow motion, and it goes, and it hits the ground and kind of like, and it was skunk. It was all over, right? So a little tiny drop, some vapor or something got in my shoes. So for like the next week in class, I smell like skunk, and it's the only pair of shoes I have. And people are like, there's a skunk under the trailer. And finally, somebody figured out it was me.
Yeah.
So I've got this skunk hide that smells like skunk, but it's so soft. Like it's the softest, sheeny. Like it's got to be like skunk would be the most expensive fur in the world. It would be the best fur in the world if it wasn't for that it was a skunk. Like, so I've got this skunk thing, but it stinks. And I'm like, I've flushed it out. I've got all the fucking grease out of it. I have salted it. I fucking have, fleshed it out.
How'd you know how to do all that?
Books. That's all there was. There was
right.
It was
That's
just
what I'm saying.
books,
That's
man.
right. Yeah.
In the back of the gun magazines and stuff, you'd buy these like hunting club books, right? So I'd use a fake name, and then they'd send me 10 books, and then they'd send me a bill that I wasn't even capable of paying. And then they'd send things going, you owe us all this money, and I'm like, I don't know who that is. Mom's like, who is this? I'm like, I don't know. We used to do it with the CD clubs and shit, So I got this book on taxidermy and skinning and shit, and then that's all there was. So tomato juice. So I leave the thing in tomato juice, and I'm washing it out, and it's wet, and I want to dry it, so I put it in the dryer. So I have this skunk in the dryer. Well, as the dryer heated up, the grease was still coming out of the fucking thing. So now we have this skunk. The whole garage smells of skunk, and there's like smoke coming out of the dryer.
Yeah.
So I open it up as Mom's coming home. The garage has like a haze of smoke, like grease. The dryer is fucking full of skunk skin grease, and there's skunk smell all over. Like there's just Mom always came home to some fucking bullshit.
She beat your ass. What'd she do? No.
No, I just blamed it on you. I don't know what happened.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah.
That skunk must have already been in there when I turned the dryer on.
So
I was trying to do laundry, Mom, to be nice.
So over months, man, the skunk
itself.
will stop smelling. So I take it and I put it on some felt, right? And then I staple it to my wall in my room. Well, years later, that thing was still there. Years later, I go to take all that shit down, and it has all disintegrated. It's just hair. As soon as you touched it, it went because there's some little beetle that eats all the skin, I'll bet the grease is still on the walls in that house. Like, because it just comes out no matter what you do. Because we didn't have all this. Like, all we used was salt. Like, there's other chemicals that go with that. All right. think we've
think
probably
that's
gone
good.
long enough. That's almost 2 hours.
Really?
Yeah, 6:50. All right, guys, there's your podcast for today. We've got a few more to do here still. There we go.
That's it. Enjoy your skunks.
I would like to have a skunk.
I would too. I think
have
it'd be
some
cool.
really nice skunk gloves.